Good morning, everyone. Today is Saturday, September 6th, and today we will cover the trades for YieldMax funds. TSLY, CONY, Nvidi, MSTY, SMCI, PLTY, this one, that one, the other one, and Roddy the Cricket is here with me. We are back in the garage pre-recording because we got a race today. We got to move our ass, get out of the house early. So we are recording actually at 4:10 a.m. Got up at the crack of dawn, late night at 2, unfortunately. But anyway, let's get to it. No more excuses. Let's get moving. All right. So before that, though, obviously some news came out yesterday. AppLovin or McLovin and Robinhood got added to the S&P 500. There was another one, but these were, the question was it these two? Was it MSTR? But obviously MSTR did not get added, which in the end, is it really a big shock? Does Wall Street like MSTR? I guess not. Whatever, man. Again, I'm just double checking the audio. It looks like it's working. So, but yeah, MSTR not added. These AppLovin and Robinhood after hours were flying up about 7%. MSTR down about 2 to 3. It looked like. So not a total shock, but again, it would have been cool to have MSTR in the S&P because that way I know it's in my 401k. Sooner than later. But whatever, I'll take Robinhood, and I still don't know what the hell AppLovin is, but whatever. I guess it's a good stock. So welcome to the S&P 500. All right, let's check Bitcoin price before we get moving, and then we'll have fun from there. So Bitcoin looking like it's down a little bit at the 110 range, so nothing too exciting there. All right, so trades yesterday. It was Friday. And there was a lot of trades. If you guys missed it, by the way, I did go live yesterday or before I had baseball practice because I wanted to go live during the announcement just because I did have the time. And I was like, for the hell of it. And the turnout was absolutely amazing. So if you guys were there, I appreciate it, by the way, which, really gives me a thought of doing this live, at nighttime or whenever the trades become available, when I'm available. I don't know. It's just a thought I had because obviously the data would be relevant, as sooner, right? And plus more people would be awake. So again, just something I'm considering. All right. Anyway, let's get to it. So MSTY, they had a crap load of trades, man. I'm not going to lie. It was brutal. It's too many. I'm not even going to cover it here, but obviously they made about $21 million yesterday in options premium. So that's pretty cool. But let's see. Was there any purple, any synthetics? Yeah, Roddy's he's ready, man. He's ready for the race today. So he's in power mode right now. You can hear him going. So he's pumped. All right. Anyway, let's get to the weeklies tab. Let's get right to it, baby. Where the hell are we? Again, a lot of trades. I don't even know where we landed off here. Jeez, man. All right, here we are. All right, MSTR, they went up yesterday. They went up 2.53%. And it looks like maybe on the hype of the S&P. And then obviously they lost that whole thing after hours. So it is what it is. MSTY, they went up 2.36%. So not a bad capture. IV percentage went from 57 to 59. And if you look today, the 30 days, that's 60. And look at the 7 days, that's 73. So at least the IV's looking pretty. Again, a lot of people think if they got added to the S&P, the IV would slow down, but I guess we won't know. So it doesn't really matter anyway. Anyway, so let's get to the trade. So what the heck happened yesterday? I mean, the bottom line is they closed trades and they won trades. So, 68 cents, 85 cents. Obviously, they won the majority of their trades. And I'm just going to highlight them all together. But I just want to show you a couple things. Check this baby out. I don't think I've seen this. Maybe they've done it once or twice. But look at this, bro. They let some covered calls expire worthless. So this 1,000 shares here, 347.50. I didn't see closure. I didn't see any buy to close on it. So you know what they did? They said, bye-bye. On your own, buddy. I ain't paying you nothing. I ain't paying you even a penny to close your ass out. So they let this sucker expire worthless. And there was more. This one, right? There was more. There's another one, right? Anything in black. They let it be. Let it be. So they yeah, man, I think that's pretty cool that they're going to start to do that. And the reason they're able to do that, again, they're not opening now the full position anymore. They're not selling calls on 100% of the position anymore. So that's why they're able to do that. So what I'm going to do now, let's add up the total profit for the week and see how we doing. All right. All right. So for the week, these trades ended up making, again, these are just the trades they closed yesterday, of course, $31.6 million. So obviously, MST at the expense of MSTR not moving much, right? Of course, they did win their options trades for the week. So that's a good thing. And then here's all the new ones, right? They added some on the 4th, and then they added some yesterday. They added what? They got a 337.50, which when they add that, they added that, and then I guess they got blown through and they closed it out. This trade I didn't really understand why they closed it out so early, but because we ended up closing at 335, so I'm not sure why they, again, maybe MSTR jumped right after they opened that position. I'm not sure why they'd want to take a hit like that though. But whatever, small offset to the, overall wins for the day. They lost 2.5 mil on that trade. Let me keep going. But they did sell a call in the process at the same time, so they did make a credit on that. They made 117,000 on that. So let's keep going. Is there anything else unusual? No. So that's pretty much it. We'll look at the summary of the covered calls for next week in the other tab in a second. All right. Hope the audio is still good, by the way, because again, I feel if I could show you my garage setup, which I keep forgetting to take a picture. It's a freaking food tray, a steel chair, and a water bottle. Here we go. Don't you miss this? Everyone misses this. So let me take a sip of water. Oh, do you hear Roddy? Isn't that nice? Isn't it nice to have Roddy back, though? That is pretty nice. So, yeah, if I do live at night, maybe Roddy will be there, too. We'll see. All right. So, anyway, that's the weeklies tab. Let's do a recap at the top. You ready? Here we go. MSTY closing price, 1562. MSTR closing price, 335.87. 30-day IV sits at 60.56%. Yeah. 7-day forward IV sits at 73%. Yeah. All right. Outstanding shares. Oh, did I not cover that? Yeah, I thought I covered that. Well, anyway, outstanding shares decreased again by 1.5 mil, but they sit at 295 mil. And then total net income so far for this 4-week cycle, 76 mil, brah. That brings in a distro of 26 cents per share, a daily income of 2 cents a day, a daily yield of 0.14%. And if you annualize that, sucker, 50%, baby. Let's get pumped. Let's go. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to wake up for this freaking obstacle race I got to do. All right, so I wonder if I still woke up the house even though I'm in the garage. All right, so how's the Bitcoin supply doing? It changed. I forgot to update it last night, unfortunately. So this number is actually from this morning. I knew I'd forget. I should just make this a morning update. But hey, we'll see. We'll see. So the supply, the circulating supply is now, it jumped, to 609. Again, there's 21 mil Bitcoin. All right. So the circulating supply is 19.9 mil. So this is, again, we'll just watch this until it hits 21 mil, I guess. Right. That's what we'll do. That's what we'll do. MSTR, they went up 2.53%. MSTY went up 2.36%. Winter went down 0.18%. Not bad. IMST went up 2.12%. MST went up 5.03%. I mean, they needed that, bro. They're getting their butts kicked. MS2 went up 2.45%. And then MSTW went up 3.24%. So overall for the day, There's my alarm. Again, that was the backup alarm in case I didn't get up at 4, but I did get up at 3, giving myself so much freaking extra time. And I'm better off, sacrifice another hour of sleep just to be not rushing is well worth it. But anyway, the winner is MST. So congratulations. All right, reaction. Yeah, man, do not enter. Do not enter my S&P, bro. You ain't good enough, MSTR. And I heard Michael Saylor is going to be on CNBC Monday, so that should be interesting if that's the case. Group D, though, will declare again on September 24th. Baby, are you ready? Boom, boom. All right, so let's look at the payment info. I don't think we need to talk about the synthetic disaster, but yeah, it's not good. They lost 487 mil on the synthetic. Again, simply because MSTR has been on a downward. It is what it is. But we'll focus on the weeklies. The income on the weeklies, that's a 76 mil profit so far. And if you scroll to the right here, that's an income of 26 cents per share, which we just covered on the recap. But let's go to the Rodemator and see how we doing. What are we going to get paid next time around? Are we getting $1? We getting under $1? Well, so far, like I said, weeklies 26 cents. If they paid that, that's a 22% yield. Obviously, they should make more than that, hopefully, if all things turn out well. Extrinsic income alone, which is basically just the opening trade credit for each transaction, that has generated about 31 cents per share, 26% yield there so far. Total net income, which includes the synthetic, obviously not pretty, so we could pass over that. It's in the negative. And then we look at the IVs, 30 to 7, right? So that would be anywhere from 73 cent to 88 cent, 61 to 73% yield on that. So again, right now it's looking like, yes, under $1. But again, we got time, so anything could happen. But it looks like, yeah, MSTR are probably going to dip Monday for sure after that news. How is their synthetic doing? Well, bro, it's not pretty. I mean, how many times can we sing Gold Digger on the same synthetic too? MSTR sits at 335. And I mean, 335 is at least above the 330. So we got that going for us. It's close to the 345. But man, the 410 is a gold digger, So all she does is she take her money when I'm in need. Yeah, she's a trifling friend indeed. Oh, she's a gold digger. Way over town. That dig on me. Oh, can you hear me now? All right, so I'm done. That's the only singing I'll do. I'll leave you guys alone after that. But why do I sing Gold Digger? Well, besides it being an awesome song, right? Which I think it dates me, right? Being an old fart here. But it's basically, for fun, obviously, for entertainment, and because the pink puts, these are the ladies. When we sell the put, when they open that position on the synthetic, they get a credit from the put, right? And they have an expense on the call. So typically they would offset each other. Sometimes it costs a little more money, on the call side, or sometimes the credit exceeds the call and they actually get a credit. But regardless, they always get a credit when they sell the put as part of the synthetic. So eventually, when they close out the put, they're going to have to pay something to close it out because they will roll the position. And when you roll it, you got to pay to close it out. So right now, you could see the expense to close out these puts. It is not cheap. And that's simply because MSTR has gone down in price since they did open these various positions. But again, that price fluctuation, it's already baked in. It's already in the NAV. So it's not like where the damage is not visible already. It's just the loss hasn't been actually realized. So when we sing Gold Digger, it's because the Gold Digger is still here. The Gold Digger has not been paid. And that is why we continue to sing. And again, it's fun, man. Relax. Don't get so serious, bro. All right, remember we talked about they let some stuff expire worthless? Oh, yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. All right, so let's see. MSTR price, let's see, 335. Okay. Here is, look, expiring 9.5, expiring 9.5. A 345 strike, these two at the top are covered calls. How the hell does this cost 276? as of now, you know? I mean, are you telling me? Again, this is the price. It should be the price as of the close. This should be a penny. Why is it showing 276? Maybe that's why they let it expire worthless. Because why the hell would they pay this type of money to close this freaking position? This got to be an error. But regardless, doesn't matter. These are the ones they let expire worthless. Because why are they worthless? Well, again, MSTR price 335 is under the covered call price here. So if they did nothing, nothing's going to happen. These will expire worthless. If MSTR was priced above these, obviously they would have closed them, right? Because they're not going to get a sign because they don't have the shares to sell, if that makes sense. All right, moving on. So these in blue, these are the new covered calls for next week. So we shall wait. Again, we're expecting a little drippity doo-dah. Anything can happen though. Bitcoin can moon and this and that and the other thing. But we are kind of scatteredy-do. Unfortunately, it's only 1 to 5% out of the money. So not much room, but we do have credit call sprayed, right? We do got some long call down here in green. So we'll see how the week goes, bro. And we'll go from there. The value of MSTY is 4.6 bill. The NAV sits at 1563. Trade price around the same. Synthetic, negative. But let's look at the synthetic contracts. They total 138,615. They are selling covered calls on 74% of the position, which essentially leaves about 25% of uncappity doodah, which means they can move 1 to 1 to 1 to 1 with the underline on that percentage, which is good, right? Especially if we moon. I like to set up that way because, again, MSTR has been down, getting kind of beat up lately. It is hot as hell in this garage, by the way. But I do like that Roddy's hanging out with us. We haven't scared him away yet, so that's good. Credit call spread, they got 71% on credit call spreads. Again, that's of the 74%. All right, so that's the coverage on MSTY. Hopefully that helped. Hopefully you guys had fun with that. Now, guess what, guys? I decided to finally put this in alphabetical order. So you know who's going to be first? The CONY heads. Congratulations, CONY heads. You are now first. TSLY tribe gonna be pissed. Hey, but you know what? At least it's in alphabetical order, bro. I don't have to be scrolling over the place. Good God, CONY had a lot of trades. All right, let's try to look at this and make sense of this. All right, here we go. Buy to close, 16 cents. All right, that's obviously a winning trade. Very cheap to close out the call there. 12 cents, cheap, 13 cents. When you see a buy to close and an expense like this, and real quick, by the way, if you download the trades on your own, actually, let me just double check audio. Audio looking good. Oh, wow. Roddy got some bass in him now. Oh, let me be quiet so we can talk. Ready? All right. Anyway, as I was saying, if you download the trades yourself, you're not going to see buy to close wording. You're going to see BC. I just replaced BC with buy to close, in case you're wondering, like, why doesn't mine look like this? Well, mine is essentially, there's some type of Python coding to generate, a nice, pretty output. Thanks to my, computer friend who knows a thing or two about a thing or two. Buy to close here, 12 cents and 11 cents. So overall, good job. They won their covered calls. And they made 9.8 mil in realized income yesterday. So if you are a CONY holder, you know what you could say? You can say, nah. All right. So anyway, how'd coin do yesterday? Well, not good. They went down 2.58%. And CONY went down as well, but not as much, 2.06%. So yeah, rough day in the office. But they did win their covered calls. Coin sits at 299. Their synthetic is at 320. They got, two of them. One expires very soon, 2 weeks away to be exact. And the other one expires on October 17th. So right now they're not looking pretty. But again, they got time. They got time, broski. All right, so what are we doing on the covered call side? We got 4 strikes, all right, anywhere from 2, 3, 4, and 5% out of the money. Are these safe? Again, who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? We shall see. We'll track it next week. All right, here we go. CONY, what are you worth? 1.3 bill. The NAV, 680, trade price 680. And synthetic, what's it worth? It's worth negative because, again, we are behind, as we just saw. All right, let's check out the IVs. Again, coins in S&P, I don't see their IV slowing down, by the way. So I don't think that really, is a thing. But hey, we'll see, man. 30-day IV, 52%. 7-day forward IV, 58%. So IV estimate alone would be anywhere 28 to 30 cents. If you look at the income estimate, that shows to be about 23 cents. So they're in the 20 to 30 cent range right now as far as payment is concerned. But they don't declare next week because they're part of Group C. They declare in 11 days on September 17th. Okay? Sound good, Chico? All right, up next, guess who? Hooey! Hooey! All right, again, because H is next, right? H, where you at, H? There we go. All right. Hooey. All right. All these covered calls next week getting blown through. Because Robinhood got added. Robinhood got added to the S&P. They were up 7% in the after hours. But anyway, let's take a look at their cover calls. Are you ready? 19 cents, 17 cents, 20 cents, 15 cent, 52 cent, 71 cent. All right. So they closed out all their covered calls for the week. And obviously, it was an overall net profit. What did they generate yesterday in realized income? About 2.2 mil in options premium. So, hey, not the bad. So let's go to the file and see how we doing. Robinhood, little down day. Maybe again, maybe they didn't think they were going to get added. I don't freaking know. But Robinhood went down 1.64%. And for whatever reason, HOOY went down more. Again, very unusual when this happened, but they went down 2.01%. So, ouchie, right? Anyway, how's the synthetic doing? Right now, not so good. Because what do we got? We got freaking the synthetics at 105. It expires though in next month, and Robinhood was at 101. Obviously, I forget what the pre-market was at, but they'll exceed that for sure. All right, let's take a look at our covered call. See if we're ready for the Capity Doodah for next week. We're anywhere from 0.74% out of the money to 7.65% out of the money. All right, so they're probably all going to get capped, to be honest. Let's see if the full covered call position has long calls attached. All right, so that does. So that's good. Check. And then let's see how much of the synthetic. So our synthetic is 22,880 contracts. How much of the synthetic are they selling calls on? The full thing. Okay, 22,880. I was hoping that we'd see that they'd leave off a little bit to capture, some of the upside. But they do, again, they have credit call spreads on the full position overall. So that should save them when capturing upside for next week. Hey, but we'll see. We'll see Monday how it tracks, the end result. But I'm sure they're going to be busy doing rolling their strikes up. All right, so HOOY fund sits at 231 mil. The NAV is 62.15, and the trade price is 62.22. Synthetic is in the negative right now, but I'm pretty sure that'll change. Check this out, though, bro. 30-day IV, 61%. All right, that's cool. That's normal. Robinhood. Now look at this 7-day forward IV. What the hell is that? What intonation? Again, whatever. Showing 10%. Flukaroonie, I guess. But so we'll just focus on the 30-day. That would be a 294 payment. And the income estimate does show 202, assuming it's pulling the proper formula. But anyway, Group C declares in 11 days on September the 17th. But damn, it's hot in here. I am sweating my ass off. All right, so let's go on to the Nvidia nerds. They are up next. Nvidia, former GOAT, great fund. Let's see. They had trades. It's not really if, though. It's just a matter of how many trades. We got to scroll through MSTY. There we go. All right. Oh, I can fit it on one page. That's a bonus. All right, so what they do? Buy to close, only one. So they obviously closed out a lot of their trades. They did a buy to close for 2 cents. Obviously, that's a winning trade. And they opened a bunch of trades for next week and generated about 2.6 mil. So, yeah. All right, let's go to the file, see how Nvidia did. Yeah, no, Nvidia didn't have a good day yesterday. They went down 2.78%. All good, I guess, right? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Nvidi went down 2.36%. So yeah, rough day in the office for Nvidia and Nvidi. Let's see how their synthetic is doing. They got a 165. That's okay. And they got a 170. That's not that okay. Because Nvidia sits at 167, right in the middle. And this expires in 2 weeks. So we'll see how the synthetic plays out, if they're going to generate an overall income or not. All right. Covered call position for next week. We'll look at the items in blue are the sold covered calls. There's 4 strikes. There's anywhere from 1, 3, 4, and 6% out of the money. Are they safe? Who the hell knows, man? We got a full trading week ahead. All right. What's the value of Nvidi? It's a $1.7 billion fund. The NAV sits at 1610, trade price around the same. Synthetic on paper is essentially flat. So the 30-day IV, 34%. 7-day forward, 35. So IV estimate sits around 43 cents to 44. Income estimate sits at 53. And guess what, guys? They declare next week. So we will have to do a guesstimate on Sunday morning. Sunday morning. That's tomorrow. All right. Let me take a sip of water. Okay, I gotta hydrate for this race, right? You know, these races, it's amazing. The body, like just running, you think that's enough. No, when you do obstacles, you're using your other body parts, your arms, your chest, your back. The body just it needs hydration, like, and you just cramp up in places you never thought you could. It's crazy. I would definitely, again, if you're into fitness, well, everyone should be into fitness, to be honest. You should try one of these races. A simple one, man, a simple one. They're kind of a ripoff in a way, but they are fun. They're fun to train for too, even though I didn't train for this one. All right, anyway, enough of that. Let's go to play 80. P to the L to the T to the Y. How you doing? All right, here we go. Let's see what they did. Buy to close, 10 cents. All right, that's a win. 4 cents, 5 cents, 3 cents, 2 cents, 4 cents, 4 cents, 3 cents, 8 cents. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. So obviously, Platy, you know, they're covered calls on Palantir. They closed them out for cheap, and they opened new calls for next week, and that generated a premium of $5 million. All right, good job. P to the L to the T to the Y. Palantir had a red day as well. They went down 1.98%. Platy went down about 1.72%. So yeah, not a fantastic day for Palantir and Platy either. Their synthetic sits at 140. That expires in 2 weeks. And Palantir price sits at 153. So their synthetic is valuable for sure. Now, Platy covered calls, they only got 3. And they are only 1, 2, and 4% out of the money. So these are what they say, tie. But again, we'll see. We got 5 trading days. I don't know. We'll see how the week goes. All right. So what's the Platy fund worth? 607 mil. The NAV is 59.74. Trade price 59.85. All right. Synthetic on the paper, 516 per share. That's how much it's worth on paper. Why do we say on paper? Because they did not sell it. All right. It's in the fund. Whoops. I didn't want to hit that. Mean to hit that. It's not realized income. Obviously, you can't see me, but I am doing hand gestures a little too much, and I'm hitting things in the garage, making noise. But the synthetic, again, it's unrealized income, right? It's on the paper. If you didn't sell for a profit, it's on the paper. It's paper profit. So that's what that means. All right. Hopefully that made sense. Let's look at the IVs. 30-day IV, 48%. 7-day forward IV, 51. So the IV estimate sits anywhere from 225 to 236. Based on IV. The income, though, shows $1.29. Now, declaration date for this sucker is next week. When we getting paid, bro? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's gonna be a tough one to estimate. Honestly, this is not an easy week to guesstimate for Platy, because we have again, the fund, I think there's a holdback, right? I don't track it like I do MSTY, but obviously there's some excess here, bro. Look, they launched a 50 and they're at 59. There's some excess in there. They got to pay us, bro, right? The freaking fiscal year ends in 10/31. It's September 6th. 2 more payments? I mean, I don't know. Can they pay us the end of the year, count to the fiscal year? I don't know. Those are tax questions that we don't freaking know. So we'll have to think about it. But and again, I'll consider it in a $3 to $6 range, right? $7? There's no way. I don't think so. But 3 to 6 is where I'm headed. All right, let's move on to SMCY. Why? Because we are the SMCY suckers. All right, here we go. All right, what the heck did they do? Buy, sell call, buy to close put. All right. Someone sold out. So they had to close out of their synthetic position and then close out one of the covered calls that expire next week. And it looks like, yeah, they may have won that trade. And then they opened a new trade for next week, generating, a little bit of money. But overall, it was a loss for the day. You know why? Well, they closed part of their 60 synthetic. And if you guys know anything about their 60 synthetic, it's a disaster. All right. So they lost yesterday, 765,000. Up in her. All right. So let's go to SMCI. How you doing? They went down 0.72%. SMCY, they went down 0.77%. Again, unusual where the covered call ETF would go down more than the underlying on a down day. But it's not much, so it's not too much to care about there right there. But let's look at the synthetic. They got a 45 and a 60. Both suckety doo at the moment because SMCI is at 40. All right. Again, these expire in 2 weeks. So the gold diggers are coming. And I promised I would not sing again, but this is sing worthy, just so you guys know. So if you want to sing on your own, feel free. Or just, put the song on yourself after you're done listening, of course. It's a great song. Anyway, what do we got here? Cover call wise, 2, 3, and 5% added to money. Is this safe for next week? I don't know, man. Probably not, but who knows? We'll see. We'll watch. We'll keep an eye. All right. The value of the SMCY fund is 314 mil. The NAV is 1439, and the trade price is 1436. If you care. Anyway, synthetics negative. We know about that. Let's look at the IVs. SMCI, the 30-day IV is 52%. The 7-day forward IV is 54. So IV estimate based on that, anywhere from 58 to 60 cents. Is that good? Not really. Not when we're used to. Ooh, Roddy's putting up the base again. You hear it? He's trying to come in. He's trying to get in. Or maybe he is in. I don't know. We don't know. There's so much crap in this freaking little garage. You don't know. It's not even a full garage, by the way. It's like a third of a garage. The other 2/3 are the gym that's consumed with bikes. You don't even know. You don't even know, bro. That's a video for another day. Anyway, income estimate 20 cents. That's based on realized income. But Group D, they declare in 18 days on September 24th. So stay tuned for that, Chico. All right. Last but not least, your boy, T to the S to the L to the Y. All right, they're very busy here. And Roddy's pumped for TSLY. All right, let me take a sip of water so you can hear Roddy. All right, here we go. Buy to close put, sell call. Are they making money? Yeah, they are. They had to close out part of the synthetic. Maybe some people sold out of T to the S to the L to the Y. And here's another one. Buy to close put, sell call. All right, they're look like this little synthetic action here. These 4 trades generated 6.7 mil, bro. Pretty sweet. Buy to close. Here's a buy to close, 394. That's not so sweet. Buy to close, 825. That sucks. 349. That sucks. All right, 984. All right. Yeah, they got a Capity Doodah. They got a Capity Doodah yesterday. That is for sure. 1156. Wow, they got their ass handed to them actually. Although we generated some synthetic income, they lost 5.4 mil for the day. All right, so what happened? What happened? Well, Tesla went up. Tesla went green. It went up 3.51%. And TSLY struggled to keep up. TSLY only went up 2.07%. So that was a pretty crappy capture, a 58% capture. We won 80, bro. So 58 sucks. All right. So come on, TSLY, do better, bro. All right, how's your synthetic doing? It's doing all right, man. It's a 335 and it's a 340. It doesn't expire until November though. So they got time for this one either way. And Tesla is priced at 350. So again, the synthetic is already valuable. Cover calls for next week. Again, we saw they closed out a lot of them. Some of these are in the money already, man. They got the 345 and the 347, 1.66% and 0.95% in the money. The other ones are anywhere from 2, 3, 5, and 6% out of the money. They do have a nice little long call in between, which will help them for the Capity Doodah for next week. But again, we'll see how it tracks Tesla. If Tesla continues to go up next week, they're going to have to roll these strikes up. And again, we'll see what the capture looks like. But again, Tesla, you just don't know. You just never know with freaking Tesla. It moves so rapidly. The value of the TSLY fund is $1 billion. The NAV 773. Trade price the same. Synthetic on paper is worth 39 cents per share. 30-day IV 47%. 7-day forward 43. So that's an estimate of 26 to 28 cents. Income estimate sits at what? $1. I got $1. I got $1. I got $1. Hey, 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 hey. And Group A, they don't declare for another 25 days though on October 1st. So stay tuned for that. Chico. All right, let's check out the daily income up in her. Again, yesterday was September 5th. So we're going to look at Salty, the daily income of Salty, right? The daily trades. We're just looking at minimal information, all right? And I always say it, if you guys want detailed trade information on Salty or Ulti, you got to check out my boy, ETF Inspector. He does a hell of a job. And it's not easy, man. You got to show him some love if you're going to watch his videos. You got to hit the damn like button. You got to hit the damn like button on this video too. Because I had a rough day. Freaking those MSTY trades yesterday. I wanted to cry. I wanted to go. Anyway, let's get back to normal here. Roddy's so pumped for the race. Obviously, you can hear him. Astera, what do we got? 15,000. That's cool. All right, we made money on Astera. We made money on Applied, Broadcom. Man, Broadcom, oof, they freaking, I don't know what they ended up yesterday. So happy I bought my son that stock many, many years ago. Bitmine and BitDeer taking a dumpster, but boy, oh boy, Lululemon, what happened? What happened? Oh man, this put here, you know, it's expense here, but the call only 34 bucks. Weird. Again, I'm not diving into the trades, but again, that's just funky looking there, right there. Mara lost money too. RH made money. Overall, though, Salty lost 81,000 for the day. Now, if we go to Ulti, obviously we're dealing with bigger numbers, bigger fund. Give Salty time to catch up. Affirm lost money. That's not good. Coinbase made 1.6 mil. Credo lost money, lost 4.1 mil. Robinhood made money. Okay. What else? Rigetti. Palantir made some money. Echo Star lost money. Overall, they lost money too. They lost 10.9 mil for the day. So Salty and Ulti, as far as realized income is considered, not a fantastic day yesterday. Now, if we look at their holdings, let's just see. They do got some AppLovin, Ulti does. So we'll see how that, works out for them next week. Obviously, assuming they're selling covered calls, they're going to get capped on those. That's for sure. But again, they should have a long call position, a synthetic position, which will mimic the movement of the underlying, which the underlying is going to go up. Same thing with Robinhood, right? Robinhood, obviously, going to do well next week. So if we look at AppLovin and Robinhood, they are 10% of Ulti, and they're both going to be green next week. So again, obviously, depending on what the other, because I hear a lot of people say like, oh my God, I looked at some of the underlyings and they're flying to the moon, but Ulti's not moving or Ulti's down. Guys, it's probably 3, 4, 5% of the total position. You have to look at all the holdings. All right. What are all the holdings doing? Not one or two of them. I mean, again, just because this is 10% of the position and they're flying up on Monday morning at the open, what does that mean for Ulti? I don't know. Look at the other positions. If the other positions are in the shitter, then guess what? Ulti would be in the shitter too, because this is only 10% of the position. All right. Anyway, Reddit was not added. So again, they may see some red Monday. I don't think there was any hope on Reddit being added. Damn, Roddy get loud up in her. All right, so what else we got? That's it. That's pretty much it. I don't see anything new. Ulti Fund is worth about $3 billion. The average IV sits at 71%. Ulti price change, it did go up 0.18%. I know you guys want WPay to compare it to, but WPay is not updated yet. So for now, I'll compare it to YieldMax. And it did beat YieldMax. YieldMax went down yesterday, 0.16%. All right. Now let's go to Salty and see what kind of holdings they got going on here. They got that Bitmine action, Broadcom, yikes. Some Lemonade, pretty boring fun so far. But overall, Salty, wow, jumping up in value. I did buy some shares in Salty in the dividend car account yesterday to see, we'll see how it goes. Again, it's not going to be as big as a position that I hold in Ulti, but I want to make it a decent, small position. But yeah, the value of the fund is 13.2 mil. The assets under management, that is, the average IV is 69%. 1 day movement yesterday, Salty did go down 0.93%. And then now we are comparing this to the, the inverse Qs. And the inverse Qs went up 0.3%. Again, is this a good comparison? I mean, probably not, but we got nothing else. So it is what it is. All right. So that is the coverage on the YieldMax funds. I know that was a lot. That actually took a while. If we go to the StreamYard thing here, wow, 41 minutes in. I better get to my options trades. You guys are going to complain the video is too long. All right. So that's the YieldMax coverage. Now I'm going to jump into my own personal options trades, talk about my strategy. And then we'll end it, and then we'll call it a day, and then move on with our lives. Hopefully, you guys enjoy this content so far. So what do we got here for T to the S to the L to the L? I had a put since Tesla went up yesterday, and I had sold puts open, right? I wanted to check, all right, how much does it cost to close them? I had none that were closing yesterday. If I did, I would have let them just expire worthless. But I did have this one expiring next Friday. All right. So I checked it out. It was $11 strike, way out of the money. Right. So not much chance of assignment. However, again, it only costs 5 cents to close. So it was worth it to me to get rid of a week. Right. Why wait another week? I'll take the 1100 back. Right. Again, because they hold 1100 collateral for the price of what you'd have to pay if you did get assigned. So I got the 1100 back. I got my premium. I earned 90% premium and ended up with a higher annualized yield than what originally was expected. So to me, it's worth it. What is my max that I would pay to buy to close? I don't know. It depends on where the position is. Like, I think not that long ago, I closed the position 1 day later, and I only got kept the premium about like 30-40%. But again, the original was 30 days till expiration. So, for 1 day, capturing 30% or 40% or whatever it was, to me, it was worth it. All right, what else? Again, yesterday was the 5th. So if you look at execution date, there was no trades on TSLY yesterday. So where do we stand? Well, we still have 700 shares and 700 have covered calls. So I could not sell covered calls, unfortunately, yesterday because all shares were being used. But for the week, I'm showing I made 114 bucks. Obviously, I could fix this now and adjust the formula to 175. And we'll do that. And then what I do from here, I do that, and obviously make the line. And then, of course, obviously it helps when I just do this now. What I do with the trades I talked about that were closed, I gray them out, and then I hide them. Again, the reason I show you this sometimes, because you guys may use the same spreadsheet as me because I do share it in the Discord. So, all right, what about TNA? So yesterday was the 5th. Yesterday was confusing because TNA was up and then TNA was down and then TNA was up again. So what happened was I had a covered call expiring at 42. I only have 100 shares left of TNA. I did not want to get assigned, and TNA was up in the AM. So I rolled this sucker. All right. I rolled this sucker into next week. I was going to go out further. No, yeah, I rolled it to next week, and then I'm going to keep rolling it, in due time. And the reason I didn't go any further, because I didn't have to, because next week paid a pretty penny. So I had to, if you look here, look on the top under the formula, I got a 250 credit for the new trade, and I had to pay 174 to close the old. So this paid me a 76-cent premium per share to overall do the rolling order, which yielded me 90%. So to me, that's a no-brainer, right? Nothing else was expiring except that covered call. However, as soon as I rolled that, TNA dropped below 42. I'm like, damn, this could expire worthless. But then look, it ended up for the day, ended up at 43. So I would have had to roll it anyway. So it ended up being in a right move. But either way, that's the only trade I did yesterday. So obviously, this is a bye-bye. So we can gray this sucker out and then hide it. But yeah, unfortunately, the TNA wheel is slowly coming to an end. Again, I can't get too aggressive on the puts. I have 3 puts pending, 35 strike for each. And if you can see down here, my cost basis is where is it? 35.46. So I'm not going to sell puts above 35.46. So the lowest right now, or the highest I can go is 35, which is why obviously I have the puts there. If I could do 34 or even less, I will, but the premium just is not there right now. All right, so overall for the week, how much did I make on TNA Dynamite? I made $198. So weekly income, guess what? I did not hit my goal. I made $312. My goal, again, this is based on a MSTY guesstimate of 80 cents. Don't forget that. So if MSTY ends up paying more, my goal will actually be less. Or if MSTY pays less, my goal will be more. Could go the other way. But I did not hit my goal. I missed it by $129. And that's okay. It's not a big deal. Again, I did have excess surplus last month of $1,100. And I'm not going to force my goal. I'm not going to force trades just to hit my stupid goal. The goal is just to keep me ideally in a position to meet my overall goal, which again I strive for a 50% annualized yield month in and month out. Obviously, that would have what would have been an income of 441, and it was not. It was not the week to do it. Again, I didn't want to force anything, so. Maybe I'll make it up next week. Maybe I won't. It doesn't matter, bro. It doesn't matter. It is what it is. All right. So hopefully that helped. Also, here's my open positions. This is kind of automatic through pivot table, but you can see I have TSLL. I got 10 contracts going. TNA, I got 4. And again, next week is what, 9/12. Nothing expiring next week for TSLL. Damn, cricket, be loud today. TNA expires. We have a call now. Again, the call I rolled, the 42, expires next week. So, if TNA continues to go up next week, what am I going to do, man? I'm going to pay to close these puts probably because they're going to be so cheap to close. But for the call, what am I going to do with that? I don't know. Eventually, I'm probably just going to have to let it go, let it get assigned, and close out the wheel. And then I'll create a new wheel with a new cost basis on TNA. But what's a comfortable cost basis, right? That's really the question, right? And then you could see, look at this 1-year chart, right? We started here, then we went up, then we went down. So you could see, man, this thing is nuts. You just can't trust it. You got to be safe. You got to be safe out there when you do options. Same thing with TSLL. Look at this chart, man. It was all the way up here, then it went down, and you can see it's still down. So, I could still sell kind of aggressive puts, especially since my average is at 16. So, just something to consider. All right. Last but not least, I did update my balance already. Current balance on this account is about 54,000. I'm holding available cash of 32,000, which is 59% of the account. However, you can't really count that because I do have 13,600 in pending puts. What does that mean? Those sold puts that you guys saw, this is how much is pending on those, right? So those three, right? What is that? 7. Most of it's TNA. Yeah. There's the other alarm. I don't know. That would have been way too late if I woke up then. But TNA, let's look at the open positions on TSLL. How many puts? 1, 2, 3. All right. Yeah. So I only have 3 puts on TSLL. I have 3 on TNA, but TNA is a little more expensive. But yeah, only 13,600 in pending puts, which leaves my actual cash amount at 18,734. So I'm actually holding 34% in cash, which is a good thing. Because now I could play both sides. Now, if Monday is a bloodbath, I am going to welcome it, and I'm going to sell puts everywhere. Well, on TSLL and TNA, right? And I'm going to make some money. And if it goes red again on Tuesday, I'm going to sell puts again. If it goes red on Wednesday again, I'm going to sell puts again. And I'm going to keep doing this. All right, I'm going to keep doing this. If it's green on Monday, then it's going to suck, to be honest. But I will still consider selling puts since I do have a lot of cash, but I'll have to go out further dated so I can get a low enough strike price that I like. So hopefully that makes sense. Withdrawable margin, again, this is the margin amount that I'm able to use because I do have this account set for bill pay. So I have an additional 28,000 that I could use. So if you add up the two numbers, technically I have $47,000 that I could play with. All right. So yeah, I'm ready for some red, bro. Bring it on. Let's go. Tank market, tank. And then there's trading margin. Again, this is not the margin that I can use because, again, money comes out of the account on the 1st of every month. It pays the mortgage. This account pays the mortgage, not my job. I don't need my job to pay the mortgage, right? This account pays the mortgage, right? $1,300 per month, all right? So that's why I don't use trading margin. But I do add it just to give you guys an idea how much margin they are, giving to me, all right? Oh, quick update. I did ask them to lower my commission fee, which, again, it was previously lowered, but I do try to ask every 6 months. But I'm told that my account is not big enough to get it lowered again. So obviously it's not big enough. It doesn't have enough trades. So I don't think I can get it any lower until I can grow my account. And granted, yes, this is a small account. $50,000 is nothing. But hey, I tried. I also tried to lower my margin rate, and they could not do that either. But I already got it lowered too. So I think I'm pretty much capped until if I can grow my account. Again, the people with a lot of money, they always get the best perks, right? The best benefits. And unfortunately, since it's a small account, I don't get, all the best perks. But again, we're going to try to grow this account, in due time. And yeah, I'll be here to share it. Hopefully that helps. All right. Real quick update on the Wheel Warriors. People keep asking me, they say, how do I join? Because most people use their phone. And if you look up here, guys, you see the website. It says YouTube, retire on dividends. And then there's a, / join, right? So you have to type this in on your phone. Again, if you're using your phone and you want to join the Wheel Warriors, you have to type this in on the website on Safari, and then it'll let you. This is what I was told by another member. This is how they figured it out. So I just wanted to let you guys know that in case you wanted to join the Wheel Warriors, whether you're becoming a member for the first time or whether you're upgrading, I think this should work either way. If you use the computer, the desktop, it should be fine. Like, it should be no problem. But I'm hearing that on the phone, it's a problem. So I just wanted to let you guys know that in case you wanted to join the Wheel Warriors. If you're asking what the hell is the Wheel Warriors, well, again, I created a group. It started with me thinking about coaching, doing one-on-one coaching, which in the end I decided against. I just don't have the time to do that many one-on-ones. So instead, I decided to do more like a group session, a group discussion to talk about options. So it's more of just a separate group where there's people that either they want to learn options, Maybe they just want to, talk to other people that do options, or just another place to hang out. So that's the Wheel Warriors. We're going to have a meeting once a month on Zoom, and periodically I will try to share some extra videos. I will also try to post my daily trades on the Discord. We did create a separate Discord for the Wheel Warriors as well. So once you get added, please send me once you sign up for the Wheel Warriors, please send me your Discord name and I'll get you added as well. All right. So I think that's pretty much it for the day. Again, after this, I'm heading out to do what's called, it's an obstacle course. Basically, it's about, maybe 3.5 miles running, and there's about 30 obstacles, which involves climbing rope. It involves carrying heavy things. It involves burpees. It involves jumping over walls, different things, which is fun, because just running sometimes doing races, it's pretty lame. But when you do an obstacle course, you're using actually your upper body, which is good. Unfortunately for me, at baseball practice, I was hitting the ball, which I shouldn't have done. But I was hitting grounders and hitting some to the outfield, and my freaking bicep is sore as crap right now. So my right bicep is in bad shape heading into this race. I know, but dumb move by me. At least I didn't pitch. If I would have pitched, my arm would have been numb. But again, hopefully it won't affect me too much. There's some obstacles I know I can't do anyway, like climbing the rope, because it's all about the feet, wrapping the feet on the bottom and then using that as leverage. And I just can't do it. At the same time, the only practice I get is at a live race, and there's hundreds of people waiting behind you. So I make my one attempt, I freaking fail, and then I just move on. So yeah, the rope is my problem. Throwing a spear, obviously, that's always iffy, but most everything else it's fine. Because upper body is fine. That's easy typically. But yeah, we'll see, man. It's a lot of stairs too. It's at a stadium. So anyway, I'll give you guys an update tomorrow on how that went. But yeah, it's I don't know why. It's too far. We'll just say that, too far from my house. All right, so I'm gonna have to end this video. I just want to say, guys, thank you for watching this whole time. I know it's a long video. Roddy's loud. Some people are probably gonna be like, "Oh, this cricket's annoying," but a lot of people actually say, "I actually enjoy the cricket." Right? They enjoy the cricket. So, wow, the Wi-Fi is showing weak sauce. But either way, I did get a Wi-Fi extender. I just haven't attached to it. But either way, guys, what the heck was I gonna say? As always, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, and this video is for fun and entertainment. So hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you're entertained. If not, come back tomorrow. All right. Tomorrow we'll do the guesstimate video and we'll have fun. I also want your thoughts on what if I went live, after the market closes, cover the trades live at night. I'm not saying I won't go live in the morning too and do something else, right? But maybe what if I do the YieldMax trades live at night? If I can. It'll be later at night because, again, I'd have to wait till the house calms down after dinner, things like that. Or I don't know. I have to think about it. But just give me your thoughts on that, because I know a lot of you are the morning people, and I don't want to, leave you guys. But again, I will plan on continue to do something in the morning. I just won't get up as early. Again, obviously it'll take time doing it at night, but again, I could sleep in a little later, which is cool. Or I can go make time for the gym more so often. All right, what else, guys? Did I say not financial advice? Yes, I did. If you enjoy this content, please hit the like button. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Outside of that, it's keyword time. So what does that mean? It means if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it, you got to type in the keyword down in the comments below. What's today's keyword? Well, today's keyword is, I guess it's Spartan, because again, today I'm doing, it's called a Spartan race. I'm just doing a small one, the sprint. I'm not doing the beast, right? They have a beast. It's like 12 miles. Last time I did that one, it took me 8 hours. But that thing is, you don't even know. You don't even know, man. This one's an easy one, so it's not too hard. It's just to make sure I'm keeping my ass in shape. So today's keyword, if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it, you got to type down in the comments below, Spartan. Spartan! I'm Spartan! And no, I haven't seen that stupid movie before you ask. All right, I'm out of here. I got to go. I hope everyone has a great day. And seriously, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And we will talk soon. Later.